Well, normally we'd call this a Fox News alert, but tonight we want to be a little more direct. It's really a creepy porn lawyer alert. A federal judge has dismissed a defamation lawsuit that Stormy Daniels filed against President Trump. Not only that, the judge says that Trump is entitled to receive attorney's fees. That means, of course, that the creepy porn lawyer may have to cut the president, his self-described nemesis, a check. But don't get your hopes up too far. The check would probably bounce. The creepy porn lawyer may realize that, too. He is vowing to appeal the ruling. We'll continue to follow this case because, honestly, we can't help ourselves. We can't look away. Democrats forecasting a blue wave of voters in November. We'll see. Some of them overtly say that illegal aliens are part of that wave. In the state of Georgia, Democratic gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams says the blue wave will include all segments of society, including, quote, those who are documented and undocumented. Illegal immigrants, of course, are not allowed to vote in federal elections. But Democrats increasingly are pushing back against that assumption. Will Jawando is the Democratic nominee for Montgomery County City Council in the state of Maryland, and he joins us tonight. Will, thanks a lot for coming on.
Good to be here.
So this seems like a bright red line that you would never want a foreign citizen voting in your election, would you?
Yeah, and they're not allowed to, and that's not actually what Stacey was saying. I think it's a distraction to talk about that. Her point was the larger point that there's a lot of ways to be civically involved. I often say voting's the end of the civic process. Before that, you ask your congressman for or your city councilman for a sign on your street. You organize, you protest. The Dreamers are a perfect example, not citizens, but they've had tremendous political impact on both sides of the aisle.
Why would you want someone who's here legally, who's not supposed to be here, you didn't welcome the person, living here in violation of your laws, right, taking services illegally, using a fake federal ID, which 100% of them are? Why would you want that person influencing your political process?
Well, Dreamers have influenced it greatly.
There are 22 million
illegals.
They're
the same types of people you're talking about.
There's a special legal designation for Dreamers, fair or not, being upheld by a federal judge now. But the overwhelming majority are not Dreamers. There are 22 million illegals. That's the federal term for them. Why would you want them influencing anything about your country?
Well, if you live here, well, first of all, undocumented, I'd like to call them undocumented individuals, they pay over $20 billion in federal taxes, but receive no benefit.
Well, that's, of course,
no
not.
Social Security, no Medicare,
not
anything.
True
and they
at all. And actually, they receive billions in Medicare. They're in Medicaid. And, of course, the overwhelming majority of the births that they have in this country are paid for by you and me, legal citizens. So they take a lot. We educate their kids. They use our infrastructure. But the question is more a theoretical one. Why, if someone is breaking your law, would that person have a right to influence? Is a citizen of a foreign country, like the Russian hackers who hacked our... No, I'm serious. It's a foreigner who's not allowed to be here. Why would that person have any
Everyone arrived here at some point, even your ancestors, right? And when they got here, they got engaged in the civic life of their community. They went down and figured out how to have their community be safe, how to get a driver's license, how to apply for school.
But legally, for sure. I'm not making an argument against immigration at all. I'm just saying...
and again, they're not voting.
But is there a... but you're saying that they should have an influence on our election.
They already do. It's a fact.
But why would we want that?
Because anyone that lives here in the county is contributing to, in the country that's contributing to our democracy, has a right to be heard.
So what is citizenship?
That gives you a right to vote. They don't have the right to vote, but they can participate in the civic crisis.
Even if
they're human beings.
Even if they're here illegally.
Even if they're here undocumented illegally, yes, people participate in the civic process.
So do
President Trump said that Dreamers can participate in the civic process.
Dreamers are a tiny...
No, they're the same thing.
No, they're not at all the same thing. They are not...
Are they not undocumented illegally?
They're not here illegally because President Obama made them legal temporarily, as you know.
Right.
But the 22 million are here
before
illegally.
That, they advocated to get that status.
And they shouldn't have gotten it. And for political reasons, the former president caved to their demands. My question is, do I have this right to go to a foreign country and demand that they change the way they govern themselves?
Oh, people do it all the time. Americans are overseas advocating for all sorts of changes in repressive countries and nations across the world.
And you think that's okay? If I show up in a country illegally, I just walk into Mexico and I say, I demand that you make accommodations for me. Do you think that's a little weird or no?
Not accommodations. What I'm saying is that we have an immigration debate in this country that's been going on for a long time. If you go back to President Reagan, he made a lot of people legal. All that stuff is happening.
He made a lot of people legal, and it was a huge mistake, I think. I'm not here to flack for Republicans. I'm here to determine what the truth is. And if I go to a foreign country and they say, you're not allowed to be here, and I say, shut up, racist, you have to listen to me, I demand you allow me to stay.
But no one said that here.
What do you mean?
You're saying, and no one has said that.
Are you joking?
No, no one said that.
We run tapes of illegal aliens all the time, burning U.S. flags, carrying Mexican flags, calling anyone who opposes
There's plenty
it
of Americans that burn U.S. flags, too.
I agree, and I'm against it. But
Right.
they're citizens.
Me too.
It's their country, and it's not.
So do you want to load everyone up and just ship them out?
Yeah, most of them, I think. I mean, if they're
The
here
Dreamers too,
illegally.
or who?
Well, no, I guess they have a right to stay.
What's your criteria?
Well, the president said that these people have a right to stay. Okay, and a federal judge has upheld that. I disagree, but that's the law.
Right.
The other law is that people who are not here legally have to leave. There are 22 million.
So if we passed a pathway to citizenship like President Bush wanted to do, and we got
I would oppose that, but if it were the law,
you'd
see,
go
I
along
believe
with
in the law. You guys don't.
I believe in the law as well.
Then why wouldn't we deport everyone here illegally?
The lead into this story was Stacey Abrams is saying that illegal immigrants should vote. She didn't say that, and that's what I'm saying.
No,
no one's saying that.
I think she was saying that, but you're saying that illegal aliens have a right to influence our political process, and I'm saying we should be horrified by that prospect. Why wouldn't we be?
No. Everyone started here as an illegal immigrant or immigrant
that's
of
not
some
true.
some.
Really?
Some
I'm looking at my stage manager who grew up in another country and came here legally.
Well, so did my dad. He came over here.
Exactly.
Even if you have people coming to this country, when the Irish came off the boats, they weren't necessarily legal. So people were not. That's the way this country.
So we have no right to defend our borders because the Irish came?
Of course we can defend them.
Okay.
Of course we can defend them.
Thank you for that. I wish we had more time. I think it's an interesting topic.
We'll come
and
back.
I appreciate taking time out of your schedule to join us.
Only citizens should vote, though.
Amen. Hillary Clinton at it again.